Hey guys, if you remember in my last video I made this awesome pocket hole machine for some upcoming projects. In that video I mentioned that I made the entire thing out of MDF and that it was stupid heavy. So I wanted to make a cart that it will sit on so that I can just roll it around in the shop and put it away whenever I'm not using it. So that's what I did. So let me get a refill on coffee and we'll get started. I cut all the pieces for this cart off camera because honestly, who wants to watch me break down another full sheet of plywood? I wanted to try something new with this one and cut dados into the sides, being careful to make sure the sides were mirrored. I used the router table to make these cuts since I can't fit an entire dado stack in my table saw, but I would definitely recommend using the table saw for these cuts. I cut notches out of the top and bottom of each side piece for some stringers that will add rigidity to the cart. These pieces are fairly large, so I decided to assemble this on the floor. I put some glue in all the dados and spread it around using an old plasticky basting brush that I stole from the kitchen. These are really good at spreading glue, and cleanup is a breeze because once the glue dries on the brush, you can just peel it off and it's ready to go again. Putting the other side on and making sure the shelves were aligned with the slots was rather tricky. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, so let me know in the comments how you would do it. I finally managed to get everything seated and drove in a few screws to clamp them together. Then I carefully flipped the whole thing over to drive screws in on the other side when this happened. Broke my bit.
After I put a new drill bit in my countersink, I laid out some lines where the shelves are located so I can put more screws in. Since this is just construction grade plywood, it's not really very flat at all, so I broke out some bar clamps to pull the sides in a bit until I could get the bottom secured with screws. These pieces are going to do two things: act as the shelf for the bottom drawer, and add thickness to the bottom panel for when I attach the casters. I had them cut to rough length and with test fit, trim a little off at the miter saw, and test fit again until I got the exact fit that I needed. I cut two spacers out of some scrap to hold the runners in place so I could drill in some screws from the bottom to attach them. Then I could lay out the position of each of the casters and transfer the hole locations to the bottom. Then it's time for more, well, you guessed it, drilling and screwing. Don't read too much into that. Then I flipped it right side up and attached the top stringer. And here's a nice shot of the back of my head for your viewing pleasure. This is where I realized that I didn't actually film attaching the top. Instead of stopping the recording after I finished, I started it. And I recorded about 8 minutes of this before I realized it, but the process was the same as attaching the bottom.
Oh, why are you still recording, stupid?
I attached these pieces to the second and third shelves to act as a backstop for the drawers. Then it was time to put the machine on its new home. I also added these L brackets to the sides so the machine won't move around on top.
Well, there you have it. A nice rolling cart for the pocket hole machine. This is going to come in real handy. Let me know what you think down in the... Hey! What? Aren't you forgetting something? Of course not. What kind of a monster do you think I am? In the next video, I'll be making drawers for this bad boy. Are you happy? Alright. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you like this video, make sure you hammer that thumbs up button. That'll help me out a lot. And if you've got any comments, leave them down below. If you haven't seen the video of how I made the pocket hole machine, you can click right up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can just click right here. And stay tuned for part 2 of the video where I'll be making the drawers and finishing this thing up. Until next time.